Hello everyone! Hey, it's Eva May and welcome to today's live stream here on CGTN. I thought, you know what, I am confined to my small room. I might as well just hit it off today with introducing myself first a little bit and see, how you guys are feeling about my situation, living life in complete isolation. So first things first, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Eva May. I am a Travelogue presenter here at CGTN. And as you can see in the background, this today is my mansion, and not only today, but it has been my mansion since pretty much 21 full days now. Today marks the final day. Tomorrow I can let freedom ring again. So I thought I might as well just sit down here with you via a live stream with my big mug of coffee and talk everything that evolves around the topic quarantine life here in Beijing in China. Now, first things first, thank you also so much for putting in some questions down below already. I am very happy to answer them. So hi Kong Tai and hi Austin from Texas, for example. It's really, really nice to have you guys here. As a little pre-up, I am having my eyes sometimes here because I do have my computer here with the questions, just so you know. I don't want to be rude. And yeah, so for those of you who have a quarantine time ahead of you guys, you might want to grab a piece of paper and a pen because I am going to try to make this stream very informative and of course mixing it with a little bit of fun and just to give you a broader picture, a clearer picture of what quarantine life here in China is actually about. So yeah. Let's start off with the first question I can see. Is quarantine fun? How is the food? How long will your staycation be since you have to quarantine to China and quarantine again back home? And any opinion on how to make quarantine time fun? I am very happy that you asked me, Feng Tai. So first things first, quarantine is... Well, it sounds very, very harsh, right? 21 days quarantine is definitely not something that people usually would look forward to, but you can definitely make it fun. I have now been spending 3 weeks here, and I think the most important thing is to really have a routine. People always say, you can, obviously you're in quarantine. Why on earth would you want to have a strict time to wake up and a strict time, to go to bed? It all depends on you. But coming from experience, I can really tell if you have a certain quarantine routine in your day, you wake up at a certain time, you perhaps do a to-do list. And speaking of to-do lists, I actually have one here as well. So this is my to-do list. Since 3 weeks, I'm writing down every single day what I want to achieve, what I want to get done, and it helps me to keep track with everything that I want to achieve and just, become productive because you will get to a certain point where you feel like maybe, I feel a little bit useless here in quarantine, locked up in a room, but it really depends on you. So before I, oh, hi there. Thank you from Nigeria. Greetings back to Nigeria. And, oh, Austin, I'm just seeing you have also went through a 14-day quarantine this past Tuesday. You're glad it's over, I can imagine. First things first, I am going to tell you guys a little bit about my personal story and why I am even confined to this small room, where I come from, and what my personal story is. And maybe it will, help you also if you're looking into traveling to China soon to also have an idea of what to prepare ahead, because there are a lot of things that you guys do need to prepare ahead. So I was traveling back to my home country last year in January 2020. And I was, packing my luggage, was intending on going on vacation to visit my parents who live in Austria, because I'm from Vienna, actually, and to just spend Spring Festival, Chinese New Year with them for 2 weeks. And at that time, it wasn't really sure yet what this whole thing around Corona is. So Corona, it was popping up in the news a little bit, but it was still this mysterious virus that nobody really knew anything about. And so I packed my things, I went on the plane, and then once I landed in Austria, 3 days later, everything, the whole world has been basically shut down. Flights got canceled, people were stranded at wherever they were at that time, and I was not able to go back. And that took me a decent year until I finally managed to come back to China. And so I was intentionally packing for 2 weeks, and that resulted in being abroad and away from China for more than a year. And so fast forward, long story short, within this year, my passport has expired. And in my passport, my work visa has expired. And with the work visa, my residence permit has expired as well. So now we had an issue because I was not able to go back. And even though, China was closing its borders back then in March, so any kind of foreigner who wanted to enter the country wasn't able to anymore. And I just had to wait it out the entire time. I was working remotely from home. I'm sure that a lot of you guys know a similar situation or have been going through a similar situation. And so once I then got the news that China is easing its policies and letting foreigners in again under certain conditions, I was really trying to get back to this country as soon as possible to return to the old normal. Now, here comes the thing. A lot of people have been also asking me, is it possible now to travel back to China again as a tourist? No, it's not possible. You're able to travel back to China when you have a few documents, that you can actually show. So that includes, aside from, a work visa or a residence permit, then you're able to apply for a visa. But if you have a work visa that has expired and a residence permit that maybe has expired, then you would need a so-called PU invitation letter, which is an official letter that is issued by the Foreign Affairs Bureau here in China. And you need a work invitation letter from your employer, for example. Now, since the rules are always changing, right? I've heard that a couple of days ago, there is this new regulation that China is easing its entry restrictions again to people who want to enter China and have a Chinese vaccine, so a vaccine that is made in China. So if that's the case and that applies to you, then congratulations, it's way easier for you right now to apply for visas again. So it really always depends on the current situation. Hi, Austin. Okay, where I'm from, I'm actually from Austria. I'm half Chinese and half Austrian. Yeah, so I hope that answers your question. And back to the thing. So yeah, when I got everything settled and I got all the documents ready, I was so ready to board my flight. What do you need for your flight when you want to enter China? First of all, you need a negative nucleic acid test that is not older than 48 hours. Aside from a negative nucleic acid test, you would also need an antibody test. I think it's called an IgM serum. So yeah, take it from the blood. And aside from that, you would also need a health code. And if you have these three things, you're welcome to board your plane to China. Yes, Austin, I am able to speak Chinese. 我会说一点点中文，但是我的汉语不太好. I hope that answers your question now as well. And yeah, so I'm going to tell you about now my onboard experience. So I'm not sure if some of you might have already watched my vlogs. I did film a little bit about my experience when I was boarding the plane until I arrived here in Beijing. So once you board the plane, obviously it's also different from the country that you're coming from, but in my case, it was Austria. So I was boarding the plane from Vienna and I took the Air China flight. And first of all, respect to all the frontline workers out there. They did such an amazing professional job. And really, this is not, like trying to advertise anything right here at all. Strict disclaimer, hand to heart. I'm definitely just genuinely going to tell you about my experience and how it was. And I was just so impressed by how smooth the entire procedure there was actually. People were so professional. So when I boarded the plane and I showed my QR code, I just sat down in my seat with, I think, maximum 30 other passengers on the plane. So you have this huge carrier and you're just sitting there with only 30 other maximum. I think it was like, the cabin crew told me, I think we were just maximum 35 passengers. And, you're just like sitting there all by yourself. And it's just such a weird feeling because I haven't been traveling for such a long time. And mind you, I am actually a frequent traveler, not only due to my job, but also because I'm that basic girl, yes, but I do love traveling. Who does not, right? And so it was odd to like travel again after this pandemic or still like during this pandemic, and to just see it's such a weird and different atmosphere. Anyways, you get all the cabin crew wearing protective full gear, and you don't get served any snacks in form of hot meals during your flight. You only get like 2 lunch boxes, and you have cold snacks that are offered to you. The reason why they're not serving hot meals is because they want to prevent, further potential contamination, and that's obviously easier with hot food. And thank you very much, respecting you guys as well. So I'm sorry, I'm like really not good at multitasking. I'm literally trying to talk to the camera and answer your guys' questions, and I'm just like all over the place, so please forgive me. If I don't get to your questions right away, I definitely will as soon as I actually know, where I was like leaving off context-wise. But anyway, so you got the hot meals served, then you get your temperature taken twice in flight. And so the cabin crew measures your body temperature. Once you then land in Beijing, so from Vienna to Beijing, it was a decent 9.5 hours flight. We were not able to leave the plane right away, but people are going to be escorted out in small groups. So in our case, it was like groups of 5 people, first leaving the plane. Then you have to wait another 5 minutes until the other group of people is able to get escorted out. Once you get out, this is where the fun starts. You get to register via your passport, via your health code. Then you have to do another nucleic acid test. You have to wait for your test results. When everything works according to plan, you're able to get your luggage, and then you will get on a bus that is arranged by the airport, obviously in compliance with the government and the police. And then you get on the bus with the passengers who were on the same flight as you were. And yeah, I hate to break it to you, but at this point, you still don't know where you're actually gonna go. But this is definitely an adventurous part. So try to like stay positive and test negative. So you're on the bus with these people. Nobody knows where exactly you're gonna go. And really, here comes the question of quarantine hotels, guys. I've been always receiving questions. Oh, do you get to choose your quarantine hotel? Do you have to, can you actually tell people like, oh, maybe I would want this kind of hotel or that kind of hotel? No, I'm sorry. You do not get to choose your quarantine hotel. It's a game of chance, really. So it also depends, this is also important to know. So it also depends on the city that you're arriving in. So for example, I'm currently in Beijing, right? So in Beijing, most of the quarantine hotels are mid-standard hotels. So you can usually assume it's either 3 or 4 star ratings of the hotels. But then, you go to Shanghai, and from what I've heard from friends and acquaintances who have been quarantined there, that apparently on average, the hotels maybe are there a little bit more spacious than here in Beijing. Another funny thing is I actually thought that the hotels in Shanghai must be probably more expensive, but apparently the ones here in Beijing are slightly higher in prices, but it all varies and depends on the individual city that you're actually arriving in. And a little bit of a trip for the travelers among you guys who are having a quarantine time ahead of you, and you definitely want to make this stay a little bit more luxurious. A lot of people are actually trying to arrive in the city of Xiamen. So Xiamen, for those of you who don't know, is an island city in the southern China, in the south of China. And they are known for having a lot of top quality hotels and hotel chains. So the standard there of quarantine hotels is probably a little bit higher than in usually other cities. So chances are high that you will get there a rather more luxurious stay than perhaps in another city. So yeah, just as a little insider tip here. And I've also been receiving a lot of questions around, do you have to pay for your hotel and how much does it cost? This, again, also depends, first of all, on the city that you're in and at the hotel, I'm so sorry. Depends on the hotel that you're in, obviously. Thank you, Eva. Great. Anyways, so it depends, but usually hotel quarantine costs anything between 5,000 to 7,000 Chinese yuan for 14 days, and I'm going to get right to it. And that's going to answer your question now, Lee478, how long the quarantine is. I'm going to get there right away. Just give me a second. So quarantine hotels usually cost something between the range of 4,000 to 7,000 RMB. So oh my God, if you want me to do the math, that would probably be in US dollars, anything between 600 to 1,000, and in euros, something between 500 to 900 euros. And why I am saying I'm going to get back to your question now, Lee, is so the official regulation in Beijing right now, at least, is like 14 plus 7 day of centralized quarantine is mandatory, meaning 14 days of your quarantine stay, you would have to pay by yourself, unless you are a business traveler or you work for a company that might cover the costs for you. The additional and final 7 days of your total 21-day quarantine experience will be covered by the government. Now, within all these things, within all the hotel costs, you will have included 3 meals per day. And this also depends on the hotels, but most hotels offer and include it into their total costs as well. You will have 3 to 4 nucleic acid tests. So within these 21 days, for example, at this hotel where I'm staying at currently, I had to do 4 nucleic acid tests. I had my nucleic acid tests, my last one I had done today, just in the morning. And yeah, I was also like, oh my gosh, don't we all love nucleic acid tests? Yeah, but it is what it is, and you have to do what you have to do. And yeah, so that is basically it about like the general information. And you are very welcome, Caliber Wings. You don't need to thank me for this stream. I hope that this information is going to be, helpful to really everyone who is interested in traveling to China or is stuck somewhere abroad like I was. So yeah, I really, really hope so. So please feel free to like comment and ask away. As mentioned before, if you have any questions, I will definitely do my best to answer them. We're going to, then now speaking of hotels, I'm going to come to my personal favorite topic, which is food. Okay, so the foodie that I am, I was like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do if I don't like the food here? Can I order takeout if I don't like the food? What am I going to do? Because I'm really confined to this room for 21 days, right? And I hope that answers your question, William, because you cannot leave that room for 21 days. The only thing you can do that leads you out of the doorstep is set a foot out to pick up your food that gets delivered to your front door and then go back to your hotel room. So yeah, that is that. So yeah, you're really stuck here and confined to a room, but do not worry, because at least from what I can say from my experience here, I was also very, very pleasantly surprised about the quality of the food. I personally really liked it. I do have to say, I'm half Chinese, right? So I'm half Austrian, I'm half Chinese. I grew up literally in between 2 very different cultures. So I'm very familiar also with the authentic Chinese food. Now, Chinese food in China doesn't equal, though, the Chinese food that you might know from restaurants somewhere in Western countries, because the food here is still slightly different. So if you sometimes are not familiar with or just not really into eating chicken feet like we had on the menu sometimes, or some other things, you might as well just want to make sure that you pack enough snacks and canned food like tuna, maybe some nuts. I'm going to give you a room tour towards the end of the stream, of course, and leave it off at that with some hopefully helpful tips for you coming from me personally as well. But make sure you pack enough snacks, just that you can nibble on something, and don't go to bed hungry. Don't wake up to bed from bed hungry, because that is the last thing that you want to do here in quarantine, because food keeps you sane. Food is, I don't know, I love food. So yeah, that was a very important part of me. So yeah, please keep in mind, definitely bring snacks, all kinds of food that you would want to have in case you don't like the food. Because, and here's the next point, can you order takeout? This, my dear friends, also depends on where you are actually quarantining at. So at my hotel, for example, you can order takeout under one condition: no hot meals. Only cold packed foods you're able to order, or you can order some fruits and some vegetables and some different kind of meals, Western meals as well. They do serve at this hotel too, so you call the reception, you just order it here, or yeah, that is about it. Some other hotels are less strict on it. They're like, man, just order food, like we don't care, you can do whatever you want. And some hotels don't allow it at all, so you gotta be prepared for any kind of situation. So make sure pack snacks. That's very, very important. Yeah, does the staff sanitize the rooms every day? Here's another thing. So the rooms are pretty much sanitized, but they do not sanitize your room specifically inside every day. But what they do is they sanitize the hallway every day. Your room is just all about you being there for you, and that is about it. Nobody's going to enter this room. Neighbors that you have seen before you checked into your room, bye. You're not gonna see them for 21 days. That's it. It's just me, myself, and I in this room. So that's another point. You will also not have any kind of hotel like room service that you would usually expect maybe from living at a hotel. And you perhaps also want to keep in mind that you should maybe bring some washing detergent and some washing powder with you, because within these 21 days, you will have some clothes that need to be washed, and there ain't no laundry service, there ain't no washing machine. You gotta do it the old school way and wash it with your hands. So bring a washing detergent or a washing powder, anything in that form with you as well. And yeah, as I said, I'm going to show you my room later. It is pretty clean. Obviously I cleaned up for you guys, but I'm gonna tell you something, I have a little bit of an OCD problem too, so, but that's good because, you know, if you're stuck and confined to a room for 21 days, you might as well just wanna make sure that you keep everything halfway clean, because there is nobody else who's going to come in and clean it for you. That being said, oh, hi, Kenny. Okay, what was the flight like? So I have mentioned this beforehand. I'm very happy to repeat it because you might have not heard it. So the flight was very decent, actually. It was a very unusual feeling, though, because it's the first time that I've been traveling on a plane, on a full plane, like really a huge carrier with 35 passengers maximum. So everyone is obviously keeping the distancing rules. You know, you sit in one row and like 5 rows ahead of you, at least 5 rows ahead of you is another person. So you're very well distributed. And yeah, you don't get the usual cabin service that you might be used to. You get like 2 little snack boxes with like cold snacks packed in, and that is about it. And it's just like a very unusual feeling. But, and here goes again, a shout out to all like the frontline workers, the cabin crews. They are doing such a good job, and I have the utmost respect for these people because I really don't think it's an easy job, guys. Like, honestly, working during a global pandemic, dealing with these things, basically risking your own lives as well, you know, we're just like risking getting contaminated or, you know, getting a virus. Like, I just have the utmost respect for these people. And then, you know, for them, for being in such a good mood, because the people were so sweet, they were so friendly, they were really going out of their ways to try to answer any kind of question that you might have as possible, because it is a very unusual situation for really everyone. So yeah, it was a very unusual, but surprisingly also interesting experience in terms of just, you know, how people are handling this in such a professional and smooth way. So yeah, and I hope that answers your question, Kenny. How did I plan the whole hotel quarantine, and how did I stop myself from boredom? Well, I didn't plan the hotel quarantine. Everything gets pre-arranged for you. So once you arrive at the airport in China, everything goes like smoothly and automatically from itself. So, you know, the staff people are just going to tell you where you need to go, what you need to do next. You're going to have like several health checks. Then you get to on a bus, and then you will get escorted to your quarantine hotel. And that is it. So everything gets arranged for you. And fortunately, unfortunately, depends on how you see it, you're not able to choose the hotel, but it's just gonna be like, oh, these passengers, that hotel. Those passengers, that hotel. So yeah, game of chance, as I said before, for those who have been joining right from the beginning and still are here on this stream. And how do I stop myself from boredom? Oh my gosh. Routine, as also mentioned before. Routine is key. Routine is key. I make sure that I wake up at, so here the meals are served, like breakfast we get served at 7:30 a.m. I make sure that I wake up anything between like 6 or 6:30, and then, you know, I'm just like gonna do some like, I don't know, yoga exercises. That's what I usually do in normal daily life as well. And then I have my breakfast, and then I make sure that I definitely call my friends and my family at least once a day. Just to keep in touch with them. Like, shout out to technology, guys. I don't want to sound like a grandma, but thank God for technology, because even though you're not physically with people and connected to people, technology makes things easier and makes you not feel too lonesome. Books also are a great way to spend your time. I know that, you know, in my daily routine, I unfortunately never really take too much time to read books. I also see this quarantine as a good opportunity, and I know you might have also heard this a couple of times already across the internet, at least I have, but learn something new. Do something that you would have never had the time for in your normal daily life. I, for example, have dedicated my time again to drawing. I loved drawing. I used to draw a lot as a kid. And thanks to quarantine now, I've picked up on that again. And it's just like really something very relaxing. And that's just kind of like de-stressing me. Or other than that, you know, learn new skills, like learn, I don't know, something like video editing, or you can try to you can download an app and try to learn a new language. There are so many opportunities out there. I do think, though, that it's very important for anyone who has a quarantine time ahead of them to prepare yourself mentally ahead, because preparation is also key in this regard. I wouldn't recommend anyone to be like, oh, you know, 21-day quarantine, like, I just like don't even want to invest my thought in like how I'm going to spend my time. I'm just like not going to even deal with it. On the other hand, I was really like, okay, I have to always, you know, be conscious about the fact that I'm going into quarantine for 21 days, but that's okay. I'm preparing some books that I want to read. I am preparing some movies that I want to watch. I'm downloading some movies, or, you know, like if you want to stream some movies, you can always do that. I definitely, have just like written down everything that I want to get done within quarantine. So a part of that was making some little vlogs for you guys, just so you have a idea of, you know, like how it's going to be like. And it's fun. It really is. It was fun for me to like just keep myself busy, keep myself going, and don't let any negative thoughts, you know, overcome and just become like in this just get into this like sad state of mind, because I know it's also easier said than done. Absolutely. I do not want to down talk that at all. It's also absolutely normal if you have certain times where you're just like, I can't do this. Like, it's really getting a little much, you know, then do something that you know that you would enjoy. And if that includes, I don't know, maybe, talking to a person that you haven't talked to or called for such a long time, or whatever. Just like prepare yourself mentally ahead and just try to come up with like things where, you know, like you'll enjoy these things and it's going to, you know, keep you stay positive. And yeah, that is what I can tell, at least from my own experience. And I'm sorry I have to like look through the other questions again, because there are some questions. Did the test compulsory? So all the tests are mandatory. These are part of the regulations here. So You definitely have to comply with the regulations, obviously. And yeah, but honestly, I personally, I think it's good because, just live after the motto, better safe than sorry. And I know, once again, 21 days is really harsh. 21 days, if you hear like 21 days stuck in a room, it is so harsh and you're just like, ugh, no, I want to avoid that as much as possible. And then I was like, you know what, guys, honestly, 21 days, 3 weeks, okay? 3 weeks, and that's your entry ticket to return back to the old normal. Because life here in China has pretty much picked up again. People go to restaurants, people go to bars, you even have people going clubbing. Obviously there are still a lot of, health regulations going on, and like people are just like still, at certain facilities you have to wear a mask. You still have like that green QR code going on, but it's just so much more different to what I was used to back in my home country, for example, where we are unfortunately on our 4th lockdown meanwhile. And so getting this grasp of having a normal daily life again is just, for me personally, so worth it to go through a 21-day quarantine. Plus, it's a social experiment for yourself. You can see and find out whether or not you're feeling comfortable with yourself. Honestly, I also try to see it as a, pre-organized retreat for yourself to just, think about like your, I don't want to get too deep here and just being too spiritual and everything, but I just thought you know what, maybe I'm just going to think about hey, it's just, I've never been stuck in a room like this just with myself, and I don't even know would I be comfortable to that. But I was curious to find out, because that also then again tells me, how comfortable am I with myself? Am I do I have my inner balance, So I'm just really, really trying to keep a positive headspace and a positive mind as much as possible. And I think that's really, really important. And it's really a social experiment for yourself. And it's one in a lifetime experience. It's something you can tell your grandkids about one day. Do you know when your grandfather, or your grandmother back then was confined to a small room for 21 days, isolated from the rest of the world? Yeah, that's definitely a story that you could tell, and it's not the funnest of times, but it definitely is something that a lot of people ahead of you have managed to do so, and I'm sure that you guys will be able to manage this as well. It's all depends all on your willingness to do that and your general attitude, really. Yeah, sorry, I have to see. Okay, hi, Peter. The 7 days is for your final destination or all at your arrival location? Very good question, Peter. From what I know right now, I know that the plus 7 days after the 14 days is actually dependent on your city that you're arriving in. So Beijing, definitely 21-day quarantine. I think Shanghai as well, if I'm not mistaken, for any foreigner entering China. You caught me there. That's a good question, because I don't want to give out any false information. I would have to check that out. But from what I know, I think that every foreigner who's entering from abroad right now, in whatever Chinese destination, needs to quarantine 21 days. I'm not sure though if this has meanwhile changed again and it's only for certain cities as it was before, like Beijing and Shanghai, or if this applies to every single Chinese city now. But yeah, and plus also what I get also often as questions is, what do I do then when I, for example, as a foreigner arrive in Shanghai? I have to go through the 21-day quarantine and then I want to travel further to Beijing or another Chinese city. Do I need to quarantine again? Well, no. So the thing is, as I said before, the rules and the regulations always change depending on the current global pandemic situation, right? But as far as I know, meanwhile, you do not need anything until I think you would only need a negative nucleic acid test as a foreigner to travel to another Chinese city. And I have heard that it's probably going to be eased and relaxed again within the next couple of days, or it even has already happened, where you just need to show your green health code and don't need a negative acid test anymore. But anyways, you do not need to quarantine another 21 days or another 7 days or something. But what might happen is that you're under health monitoring. And that means, depending on if you arrive at a hotel or if you live somewhere and you are going back to your apartment, those plus 7 days you're going to be under health monitoring, and that means that you would need to let the property management, the apartment management, or the hotel management know your body temperature twice a day. I hope that was able to clarify your question too. Yeah, let me see. Sorry. Woo, so many questions. Yay, getting excited. Belinda. Hi, Belinda. Nice to see you, and me too. Is your employer paying for all of your expenses? I can't imagine actually going abroad during a pandemic. I wasn't able to imagine going abroad during a pandemic either, trust me. But yeah, my employer luckily is covering my hotel costs. I know that a lot of other employers are doing the same. So if you have a valid work visa, or if you're recruited by any company, organization, whatever, then most of them, would come up and cover the fees for the hotel costs. But that totally depends on your employer. And what is the first food you're looking to get once you are done? Love this question, Kenny. Burger. Yeah, I'm in desperate need of a burger. Oh my gosh. That nice, burger and cheese and fries and ketchup and yes, junk food. Yeah, I'm going to admit it. It's going to be junk food. I love it. So I'm definitely going to go and get myself a Shake Shack burger because those are my favorite burgers. Yeah, I might have missed this. How many days left? William, I'm on my final day. I'm going to get out into the wild and, be free starting from tomorrow. So I'm very much looking forward to that. And you guys are spending my last final day in quarantine with me, so I couldn't have asked for more. Thank you so much, Pop Comrade. That's very, very nice. That's very sweet of you. Thank you very much. I appreciate that kind compliment. Belinda, another question. Is your work assignment to just experience and report on the 3-week quarantine? It has to feel like a prison sentence. I don't judge you for thinking that it feels like a prison sentence. I don't, because what else are you supposed to believe and think if you're saying like you're confined to a room and you can't go out and you are isolated from the rest of the world? Pretty much feels like a prison, right? No, but it really is not. So as said before, my work assignment is not to just experience and to report on a 3-week quarantine. It's because I have been working as a Travelogue presenter. So for those of you who do not know Travelogue, it's a travel show here on CGTN. Please, you can check us out on our Facebook page at CGTN Travelogue. We are traveling and exploring the coolest places off the beaten track here in China, and testing all the most exquisite cuisines, and talk to really interesting people who have really fun and also very thrilling stories to tell. And yeah, we're just a little travel show here at CGTN, and I've been with this company already since pretty much almost like 2 years. Yeah, I started in 2019. And then I wanted to go visit my parents last year for Chinese New Year in Austria. So I packed my luggage, went there for 2 weeks intentionally. And then the global pandemic situation started. So I was stuck abroad and I couldn't go back. So come back to China for over half a year. And now I'm finally back and I am ready to resume my old normal life again. And that's why I'm actually in quarantine, and that is why I am also reporting on my experience, because it wasn't an assignment. It was something that I felt could be interesting to those who have this experience ahead of them because they want to go to China or need to go to China soon, and they just want to know what it's like. And I know that, before I traveled to China, I was really curious on how the whole procedures look like and if there are any tips that, could be useful and helpful to me. So I thought, you know what? Why not talk about it? And why not just share my experience? Because I hope it will come in handy for some of you people. Yeah, that would make me very happy, because yeah, I was in desperate need of some tips as well before I was preparing for my trip here. Yeah, and other than that, speaking of tips, because preparation is key, and I got a list of things that I want to tell you guys about, and this is not supposed to shock you guys, but I do a lot of talking. It's my job, but I sometimes also forget the important things, and we certainly do not want that, because this is supposed to be an informative stream, right? So, tips. Bing! Snacks. Very important, right? Snacks are so important. Toiletries. This is the fun part. Toiletries. Yeah, you might want to take your shower gel with you, your shampoo, and the ladies out there, take your conditioner with you, because you are probably not going to get like the things and products that you want right away. Definitely make sure that you check up on all of that and you have everything that you usually need for whatever personal hygiene reasons. Be prepared. Washing powder, as I mentioned before, definitely take your washing powder or detergent with you, because for 3 weeks there will be clothes that need to be washed, and there is no laundry service, there is no room service at any point in this regard, and there is no washing machine, so you gotta wash it with your hands with a washing detergent or some washing powder. Yeah. Then, body temperature, thermometers. Okay, so the daily hotel routine looks like this. You need to report your body temperature twice a day, once in the morning, once in the evening. And upon your arrival at the quarantine hotel, you will get handed out like these kind of thermometers. Now, these are the classic, rather old-fashioned ones. Don't want to offend anyone, but old-fashioned ones that I don't really know how to use them, to be honest with you. I think you need to shake it. And I'm just too stupid to know how to use this, honestly. But yeah, they take ages though also until they give you a result. Can you just please add to the dramatic atmosphere, like, these take ages, okay? These really take ages. So I would strongly recommend you take a digital thermometer with you. It's going to save you so much more time. It's going to be so much easier, especially also when you're traveling with kids maybe. Faster results equals a digital thermometer. So bring that with you, definitely going to come in handy. Other than that, what else do I have here that I can tell you about? Cutlery. You might want some cutlery, because everything that you will get is going to be... Sorry, I was just listening to my thermometer beeping. Cutlery, definitely bring cutlery, because you're going to get plastic knives and plastic forks, and sometimes not even forks, but only chopsticks, and you never know, it might come in handy for, I don't know, if you want to cut some meat or something. Just bring your own cutlery. That's going to be helpful. And I've also gotten the question from all the wine lovers out there whether or not you are allowed to drink alcohol. This depends also, again, on the hotel that you're quarantining at. So some hotels strictly forbid alcohol. Other hotels have no issue with that. You can even order alcohol from the hotel. And then other hotels just really don't mind your business. So if you brought some alcohol with you, they just don't really care. So yeah, really depends on that. Another thing is I wouldn't bring anything where you would rely or have to rely on a fridge, because not all, wow guys, I can't even speak English anymore. No, but not all hotels are equipped with a fridge. So that really depends as well. Just, be on the safe side and assume that you probably might not have a fridge, and plan accordingly to that. And this being said, my ladies and gentlemen, please do not mind. I'm going to take a sip of my beloved coffee, because I'm talking like a waterfall and I'm definitely thirsty. And yeah, it's a huge mug. This is actually also, thank you, Eva, right. Mug. Maybe bring a mug, because tea lovers out there, coffee lovers out there, instant coffee is definitely going to be key. Bring an instant coffee if you are really dependent on coffee to wake up in the morning, like I am. bring instant coffee, bring your own mug, because they will give out these paper cups. So yeah, if you definitely want more of a filling capacity for any kinds of liquids, bring a mug. You don't have to exaggerate like I do and get a huge ass cup with 500 milliliters of filling capacity. But yeah, it is what it is, no? So sorry. That being said, it's like talking to some lovely friends of mine here. Yeah, and that being said, guys, I think we are going to get to the point of where I will be showing you my room here. So, are you ready? Let me just see. Okay, Eva's gonna try to be a cameraman. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is my view outside. So I have luckily got some big windows, which is really, really nice, and it's going to make things a lot brighter here. And I also have received some questions of whether or not you can open the windows. Yes, you can. Let some fresh air in. And the weather today is very, very nice in Beijing. So we're going to move further down here. I got 2 beds, even though I am all by myself. And it is nice to have 2 beds, but on the other hand, it's unfortunately also going to take up a lot of space. So what I thought that I would do is I actually wanted to push this bed onto this wall and this bed onto that wall, just so I can make a little bit more space here for workout or whatever. But if you can see, it's like clinched against the wall, so you can't move it, unfortunately. And that's why that is not an ideal solution. Here I have my little desk area. Here I stacked up on some vitamins and, like some snacks, as I said before. Bring an HDMI cable with you just to make sure, in case the TV doesn't work. You might as well want to connect your laptop or your MacBook with the TV screen and stream movies from there. Here, whoops, you have another like little snack corner, of course. Mind you not, guys, it was full of snacks, and because today's my last day, pretty much everything is gone, but that's the way to go. Here you have a little mini fridge, as B said. Then here is the front door, and hello everyone. So this is my bathroom, and you can see we have a shower here, the toilet is here, and yeah, ladies and gentlemen, this is a so-called wet room shower. As the name gives away, the reason why it's called a wet room is because once you shower, it's probably pretty much going to turn into a wet room because there ain't no shower curtain. So yeah, but that is it. And then I got all my toiletries here. I have washing powder disguised as a Chinese tea, and you might as well maybe want to bring a sponge, because that can also come in handy for if you bring a mug like I did, for example, and just want to clean some of that. And that being said, ooh, I feel like super professional with the tripod. And yeah, here I am just trying to let you soak in the view, and that is really it. So one last little glance at my current situation in my room, and I'm just going to turn the camera around. Surprise. So yeah, guys, what else can I say? If you have any other questions, as mentioned before, please feel free to ask them right away. But other than that, also you can always ask, you can private message us on the CGTN Travelogue's Instagram handle, for example, or Facebook page, and ask any kind of questions that you have. You can also message me on my Instagram at Hey It's Eva May if you have any questions, and if you need any other tips or something to just prepare yourself not only mentally ahead for your quarantine time, but also physically, and wanting to know what to pack and what maybe not. And yeah, what else can I tell you about before we actually brush off? And because if there aren't any further questions, then I'm gonna take it that everything is clear so far. Oh, another thing is also because I have been receiving some questions. I'm just going to close the window. Yeah, because I've been also receiving some questions about like the new regulation, whether or not you can like enter China now right away again. As I said also before, it always is changing. So I just want to finish off on that to give you a little bit more of an information is China has now, I think a couple of days ago, also actually on March 15, because that's my birthday. I spent my birthday in quarantine as well. And so China was like easing its entry restrictions for any kind of like visa applicants now recently as well. And oh, sorry, I'm just getting some other questions in. I'll be answering them in a second. So a couple of days ago, Chinese government has like given out the information that, you know, those who are inoculated with a Chinese vaccine, so a vaccine that is made in China, will enjoy more relaxed visa like entry restrictions and can easier apply for visas currently. So that's like the newest regulation right now. And China's already like started administering like vaccines in July like last year, and they had given around I think 75 million doses by now, and it does aim to inoculate 40% of its population by the summer, and perhaps like 70 to 80% of its population by the early or to mid 2022. So obviously it depends on the capacity of the product as well as the public's willingness. And yeah. So before the country reaches this so-called like high level of immunity, they will definitely, like China will definitely like adopt different, you know, visa policies and adjust it every single time, and adjust like all the flights from abroad depending on which country you're coming from and how your vaccine strategy is. And so definitely make sure that you keep up to date with the rules and the regulations, as once again, I can't emphasize enough, they do change very, very often. So yeah, make sure that you stay updated and stay tuned for that, because it is always very, very different. And thank you very much, Amos Kang. I hope that I'm pronouncing your name right. I take that as a huge compliment. That is very nice of you. And yeah, I think, guys, that is pretty much it. We've had a decent hour of a nice coffee talk, and talking about that, I'm doing another sip then afterwards. And as I said before, I can only repeat myself. If you have any questions, feel free to message me on my Instagram or on CGTN Travelogue's Facebook page, Instagram page, whatever. And stay safe, guys. That's the most important thing. I hate to sound cliche, and I really do not want to sound cliche, but I do have to say it. At times like these, you definitely get to appreciate your health more. And please stay safe out there. Make sure that you also call, you know, family members, friends, check up on them maybe a little bit more often than usual. You never know. And yeah, I hope that you guys will be enjoying the rest of your day, whatever time it is, wherever you are. And I hope that I'll see you guys very, very soon. And yeah, make sure that you maybe also join us on Travelogue soon, because I am very much looking forward to taking you across China and explore all the different plates and pilots with you guys. So thank you. Take care. I'm signing off for today. Ciao. Bye.